Hi and welcome to another week of Collecting Comics What's in the Box. Thank you to those who have checked out the X-Men episode and the Hulk episode as well. We had lots of fun recording both, and today we'll be going through our classic Avengers collection. So, shall we start with the first comic in the box?
Let's do that, Ellie. I'm excited to get to the Avengers. The first comic in the box is 59. So this features the first appearance of a character called Yellow Jacket, and at the start we don't know who he is, and then as you get into it there's a big reveal, and it's Hank Pym.
Excellent.
Who's become yet another character. So already, of course, he's been Ant-Man, Giant Man, Goliath, and in issue 59 he's Yellow Jacket. Don't quite know what's happened to Giant Man there, but it looks like he's knocked himself out. So this period of the Avengers, written by Roy Thomas, who's been writing it now for quite some time. Art is John Buscema, who's fantastic during this period. I love the team books.
It's a good team as well, looking at the cast of characters on the cover.
Yeah, Hawkeye, Black Panther, Vision. I imagine the Scarlet Witch is there somewhere, although she's not in the little box, in the corner box.
Is this so? Obviously Black Panther first appeared in the Fantastic Four.
Yes.
Was his next step then the Avengers?
I think, I might be wrong, I think he appears again in the Fantastic Four, as you say, after his first appearance, and then he, at some point joins the Avengers. I guess he moves for a little while from Wakanda to New York.
Yeah.
And, and he's great, he's an African king, and all is good, and he's quite well depicted. At some point, I don't know if it's the FF or the Avengers, they change his name briefly to the Black Leopard. This is because of the political party, the Black Panthers, but fortunately they shrugged that off and he goes back to be called the Black Panther. I don't actually know if he was named after the Black Panther movement. I don't know.
It would be interesting to find out.
Hope he was, because that would be quite a brave move by
Marvel.
Stan and Jack and Marvel. Yeah. But anyway, so Hank becomes Yellow Jacket. For some reason, takes on the Avengers. Probably beats them. Issue 60 I don't have. He gets married to Janet.
That does sound like a good issue, actually. I like a Marvel wedding.
Yes, of course. I love all these early covers by John Buscema. There's another great one. Looks like they're fighting Frost Giant there. Black Knight's involved. There's Doctor Strange in this costume he had for a little while.
That's his astral form.
Is
it not?
I don't think so. I think for a while he had this strange costume.
All
I think he, when he's in Strange Tales, at some point he puts this on. But this one, issue 62.
The Monarch and the Man-Ape.
Yeah, so it's a really Black Panther centric comic, and there's a bit of a Black Panther fan and collector. It's quite an important issue because it's the first M'Baku, the Man-Ape, appearance.
Actually, it goes from the Avengers to the Mighty Avengers here with this issue.
That's a good point, yeah. We've got an omnibus over there. It's just called the Avengers, isn't it, back in the day?
Yeah, so maybe this is the first change of title.
Yeah, because ongoing, as I keep pulling these out of the box, you're right, it becomes a Mighty Avengers. So I'm just going to lay some of these covers down. So 63, Hawkeye, for some reason, puts down his bow and arrow and becomes the second Goliath. Quite know why he would do that.
There's been no reference to that in the recent Hawkeyes I've been reading.
No, at all, no. It would be great though, wouldn't it, if in an episode of the Avengers, the movies, ongoing,
can you imagine?
He just suddenly becomes Goliath for no reason. But yeah, he looks pretty good there, and he's holding up I think his girlfriend at the time, the Black Widow, in her
original costume,
which you can't see very clearly, but there she is. I'm just going to keep going because these are such nice covers back in the day. I like this one, 66, which I think has got art by Barry Smith. So Barry Smith does a couple of issues which I'm going to say are 66 and 67, and the reason I like this cover is because they're in their house. It's the Avengers mansion.
Yes.
It's great, isn't it? I love Goliath there, obviously Hawkeye Goliath, reaching up from down below. And
I always like seeing the heroes at home.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ellie.
In the Baxter Building, X-Men Mansion, Avengers headquarters.
Probably not so keen as seeing poor old Wasp gets knocked out first.
Oh dear.
I think in today, you know, in today's
Should have
world,
a stronger chance.
yeah, should be out there knocking Goliath out, or whoever's betraying them. I can't remember. Ultron returns.
That
Quite
is
a
a
nice
very
issue.
good cover.
Brilliant cover, yeah.
Die,
Isn't it good?
Avengers die.
Yeah, don't think they do from memory. But yeah, what a good cover. And again, just carrying on, another great cover. John Buscema. What's happened to
Looks
the
like
Vision?
the Vision has been struck out.
Poor old Vision. I mean, the Vision's so popular because of obviously what's going on telly at the moment on Disney Plus.
We have got some good WandaVision comics to show
we'll come
you.
into the whole WandaVision centric comics soon. Just going to put a few more down. 69. I'm just doing this because they're such great covers. Look at this against the Squadron Sinister, an early version of
That
the
reminds me
Squadron
of the cover to X-Men 100 when it's
Yeah.
the two teams facing
Yeah.
each other.
Look at that, early versions of Hyperion and Nighthawk, Dr. Spectrum, and I think he's the Wizard. Really good. 72, I'm just going to stick there before I get some more out.
So 72 is featuring a character called the Scorpio.
Who's been heavily featured, so he was quite, or the key at least, was heavily featured in Dan Slott's Amazing Spider-Man run.
Right.
That whole Scorpio key
Classic.
thing, and he had a year. They locked him up for a year, and then he appears about 1 minute before midnight because he can see into the future for a year. Just going to lay some of these colours down. Another Black Panther one there. 74 is a great cover. Again, it looks like it's around, I don't know, is that the mansion or I'm not sure. Maybe just some random buildings. But what a fantastic cover again by John Buscema.
Looks like the
Goliath
Black
reaching out.
Panther has turned against the team in this book.
Why would he do that? Why would he do that? Look at this one. This is a nice cover. So Avengers 75. It says they're back. Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch.
So they've presumably left the team
Must have done,
by
yeah.
this point,
Must have done.
only to return in this issue.
Yeah, we get that's a nice cover. Apart from, don't know why the Scarlet Witch doesn't appear there. But
I quite like it. It's like an advert, sneak peek into the book, what's to come.
That's a good point. Again, you know, they've got this whole continuing building thing. You know, it's an
I like it. I really do
I
like
do,
seeing
yeah.
them in action.
Yeah, they're for hire here. They're into sort of repair maybe the damage they've created. Man-Ape Baku returns.
And that looks to me to be the first Captain America cover that we've pulled out
Yeah, you're
of
right,
this
actually,
Avengers run.
Yeah, so obviously the Avengers are a forever changing cast of characters, and you know, we're so used to seeing Captain America in the Avengers, but of course he's not always in there. There's no Iron Man, there's no Thor. I like that. I like the fact it's always changing, particularly featuring characters that didn't have their own ongoing series. It's nice to see Vision, Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver.
It is interesting as well. So from issue 1, obviously Janet has stayed in the team. The Wasp has stayed.
True.
Hank has stayed, but
They leave, don't they, in issue 16,
Right.
where Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, Hawkeye join.
and
But
they've
I
come
think
back.
Janet and Hank come back quite quickly. I
Yeah.
think they come back before Cap and Iron Man. Of course, the Black Panther doesn't have his own series at this point.
No, so
This is
he
probably the
is
early
starring
70s.
in this book
It
alone.
is, yeah. More nice stuff. There's the Swordsman there, who later joins the Avengers. So this one's first appearance of the Red Wolf. What a fantastic cover.
It's funny, so I've just seen this one. Sellers CGC. I think it was quite a low grade,
Yeah.
but even at a low grade, it was over £100.
Oh, well, okay.
The CGC at least.
I know when we did our X-Men out of the box chat, I think I may or may not have mentioned that Thunderbird was the first Native American hero. Not sure if I did mention that, but if I did, it was probably Red Wolf, unless there were characters in the 50s perhaps I don't know about. But I like the Red Wolf. I always felt he was completely underused. Completely. Really.
When was his last appearance?
He had a short series after the Secret War. It was a
Right.
different Red Wolf. I only think it lasted one story arc. It might have been 5, 6 issues. But I was pleased that he had his own series. Going on to potentially WandaVision centric stories. What a great cover. Load of gangsters there with their submachine guns threatening Vision, Scarlet Witch, and this is possibly the start of their romance. Bear in mind, he's only appeared in issue 57. This is 81,
Yeah,
so it's
not too many issues later.
2 years later, 23 issues later. So this could be the start of their
It's just interesting at the
romance.
moment because all the WandaVision comics seem to be on speculator websites now.
Absolutely.
You never know when you might see these early Avengers comics pop up.
You're right. This would be a good place to start, wouldn't it? The possible start of a romance. I must confess, we're not flicking through the insides of these, Ellie. We're just sort of looking at covers and remembering back, aren't we,
Yeah.
to stories we've read in the
before.
past. And I don't know, but it looks to me that could be where it starts. Great cover there. Daredevil,
Your favourite?
my favourite character. Oh, the Mighty Avengers that you spoke about, Scarlet.
It has its return to the Avengers.
I don't know when.
Didn't last for too
No, it
long.
didn't last for long, did it? This gets us Daredevil. So Daredevil is not an Avenger at this point. He kind of joins, doesn't he, in the Brian Michael Bendis here. I think they just say, here's an Avengers card, and he says thanks,
Which I think would happen, if they were all New York superheroes.
Yeah.
I feel like the Avengers would try to recruit, give membership,
Maybe.
offer a hand to any local hero.
I remember back in this era, they were reserve Avengers.
Yes.
They weren't exactly Avengers, but maybe he would be a character that may or may not be given reserve status. It wasn't like now when everyone's either an Avenger or has been an Avenger.
Of course, if there is like a city-wide event, they'll all be working together anyway.
Yeah, of course they would, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. You're going to get to the big Avengers early event, which is the Kree-Skrull War. So I'm just going to keep
Excellent.
putting these down. 88. So 89 features the original Captain Marvel. There's a bit of confusion about Captain Marvel that I'm just going to say. He's never an Avenger.
Right.
He's often, if you see the Avengers assemble, they put Captain Marvel in there. But the original one doesn't join the Avengers. He just is with them during the Kree-Skrull War. Just because he appears doesn't mean
And they're on the same side.
he's in the team. And he never joined, so not having that one. Only Monica Rambeau, the second one. She's the first Captain Marvel to join. Looks like the Wasp is down again. Quicksilver pushes his sister aside
Oh dear.
and rushes to her aid.
So this is Avengers the Judgment Day.
Yeah. What's happening here? Goliath looks like he's facing off against some of the Avengers again. And then in issue 92, which someone's drawn all over.
Now this is a classic cover.
Yeah.
And this is one that recently was part of the homages where the X-Men were posed in Avengers covers.
Oh, I see, yeah.
So like
Yeah.
X-Men 137 would be Scarlet Witch and Vision.
They were good covers, weren't they?
Good covers. And there was one like this with the original team of X-Men saying goodbye to the giant-sized X-Men crew.
Great. I don't know why they're disgraced. Poor old Hawkeye. Look. Poor old Hawkeye Goliath. He's got his shoulders slumped. They've been sent away by these three guys. So 93 is the full-on start of Kree-Skrull War. Double-sized issue for a month. All of Marvel's comics were, big. I've got 6p put over the 25 cents, I think it was at the time, for a great big issue.
And this was also been signed.
Double signed by Roy Thomas and Neil Adams, who we met, both of them we met at the 2013 London Super Comic Con. Always admired both of them. Neil Adams, he's just joined from DC and says, what's your worst selling title? Naturally it's the X-Men. And
Jumps on.
he goes on the X-Men, does some great stuff, and then does a few issues of the Avengers. This is the classic where Hank Pym, who's Ant-Man again, goes inside the Vision.
Right.
It's Neil Adams, his fantastic art of him inside the Vision trying
See all the
to...
mechanicals.
Yeah, something's happened to the Vision, he's down, and Hank sorts him out. 94 is a bit more Neil Adams. Neil Adams cover. 95 is also Neil Adams.
Avengers versus Inhuman.
So just let me correct that. I'm not sure if 95 is Neil Adams. He may not have done interiors. Whether he did or not, my copy's absolutely battered. Look at that.
It was bought at the time, reading copy.
It was bought as a reading copy from maybe someone at school or from somewhere, I can't remember. 96, I'm pretty certain, is Neil Adams interiors with Tom Palmer on inks. One of my favourite inkers. Kree-Skrull Wars was great because during your era, it's the whole secret
invasion. Yes, which we spoke a little bit about the advertising campaign in last week's episode.
You pointed out that great advertising campaign. Yeah, so in 93, the Skrulls have, I think in Fantastic Four 2, I'm going to say, turn themselves into cows.
Yes, I always remember.
Classic story. Because Mr. Fantastic suggests it, so
and
naturally
hypnotises them to stay as the cows.
They turn into cows. In 93, they either remember that they're not really supposed to be cows, or maybe another Skrull comes down and says, look, you're not cows. And they all come back. So this is a Kree-Skrull war with the Avengers caught in the middle. Good stuff. 97's quite a good story. It features the original Vision, the Golden Age Vision. This guy's called the Blazing Skull, an early kind of Ghost Rider type character, yeah. The original Human Torch and Cap and Namor.
And of course, well, when we talk about the original Human Torch, the other day I was reading this Vision and Scarlet Witch 12-issue mini-series where they recap their origins in the first issue.
Yeah.
And of course, Vision has that connection to the original Human Torch.
Absolutely. So we're told later, aren't we, or I don't know if it's at the time when he first appears, that the body used to build the Vision is the Human Torch's android body.
And Ultron has made him less human and more like him, because Ultron wanted Vision to be more like his son and to be more robotic like him.
But somehow he gets Wonder Man's brainwaves.
Yes.
Don't know if that's then or is that said then. I really can't recall. And he's got human emotions.
Of course, which is why we love the Vision
we
so
love
much.
The Vision, yeah, of course we do.
Well, it's a bit of a worry why at the end of WandaVision episode 8, again, do skip a few seconds or a minute if you're watching this video and haven't seen it, because the Avengers, the Vision from West Coast appears, who is emotionless.
So yeah, skipping forward, you're right, during John Byrne's run on West Coast Avengers, he returns a Vision in a this kind of blank white colour, whitey yellow colour.
He is
colourless.
He's lost his colour.
And he's got no emotions.
No.
And I think as a result, him and Scarlet Witch split up. It's a bit sad.
So will he go into Westview and try and bring it down from the inside? Who knows what will happen in next week's episode?
Cannot wait. 98 features art by Barry Smith, who's like Neil Adams at the time, incredibly popular artist. I think by this time he started his run on Conan the Barbarian. He's great. And we get 99. Hercules is an Avenger by this point. What I liked about issue 100, apart from the Barry Smith cover, Hawkeye's gone into some skimpy looking costume.
I'm not sure about that one.
With his bow and arrow again.
So he's no longer Goliath.
Don't know when that happened, but he's not Goliath anymore. But at the time, this cover featured all the Avengers. I thought there is. This guy here, sort of shaded out, is the Swordsman.
Right.
So the Swordsman had sort of infiltrated the Avengers. I think they gave him status for half an issue, and then he proved he was a baddie again.
Yeah.
And he appears in issue 100 when all the Avengers are assembled and says, I'm an Avenger. The only one's missing is Wonder Man, who did similar in issue 9, kind of infiltrates the Avengers.
And of course in all new Hawkeye, sort of Hawkeye's childhood was spent being trained by the Swordsman.
Yeah, there's that connection, isn't there, that runs through that series. The Jeff Lemire series, isn't it?
Yes, I'm not sure if that appears in this early issue or if it's later added
I know there's a whole
background.
there's a whole thing when Roy Thomas is writing West Coast Avengers again in the 90s, that whole conflict between the two comes up again.
Right.
For sure. Yeah, but the Hulk's back.
Hulk's back.
Hulk's
He's looking
back.
quite small.
Small Hulk. Yeah, he's almost as small as Ant-Man now. Yeah, they were the Avengers at the time.
Can you imagine them all on a cover today?
Oh, it's just impossible, isn't it? You need a great big mural to fit them all on, and who knows who the Avengers are anymore. I could probably have a stab at naming 100.
Yeah, to think of every member.
But of course, this is probably 1972, something like that. The Avengers are only maybe 9 years old, 10 if it's 73, so there haven't been that many. But as we've said before, stories have to evolve. They have to do something different, don't they, with these characters, with these teams. So they're always going to change as they have to. I'm going to move on a bit to probably issue 112, which is the first appearance of Mantis. Just before I do that, I'm going to just put that one down. You'll just notice 102, Grim Reaper, such a part of the Vision story by Tom King.
Absolutely.
So that's an interesting Grim Reaper v Vision, because he's Wonder Man's brother, isn't he?
Yes.
That's the whole point. So maybe, I guess this is about that conflict between my brother's dead. It's Wonder Man there, I guess. It's Wonder Man.
And again, the Grim Reaper makes an appearance in the Vision and Scarlet Witch series as well.
Yeah.
He's actually raising zombies in the first issue.
Of course he is. Yeah, so there's a bit of that story early on. By this time, I'm not sure it's this issue, Roy Thomas has left and Steve Englehart started a pretty great run that lasts about 50 issues. He writes some fantastic Avengers. I'm going to just put that one down. This is the way the world ends.
I like that cover.
Yeah, Scarlet Witch takes on the baddie, whoever the baddie is, front and centre. I'm just going to find that really nice cover there. My copy's just battered. Well, this is the first appearance of Mantis. I think the cover's by Don Heck. When I started reading comics in 1975, it's getting so much criticism from fans.
Right.
This is a guy that's been working probably since the 50s. I don't know if he was a 40s artist. And he was being called Don Heck.
Right.
Which I thought was a bit mean. I quite liked him. I pretty much liked all the artists.
Yeah.
I didn't really have, probably have favourites. But I can't draw. Just because he's not, the favourite artist of the day. It wasn't like a Neil Adams or a Barry Smith.
I think they all seem to be appreciated after their time. I think today there's a newfound appreciation for these creators. Yeah,
I'm pleased to hear that. I think Tomorrow's publishing do such great work on spotlighting some of these early creators. I think there's a Don Heck special, and there's certainly a George Tusca special, another artist who during the mid-70s was probably quite heavily criticised. I always liked George Tusca.
We have a Gene Colan, a book that spotlights him.
Big fan of Gene Colan, one of my all-time favourite artists, who did do a couple of those early Avengers that we looked at. This is an interesting one. Again, we're going back to WandaVision-centric covers. I think you said earlier when we were...
It's like the opposite of the cover we saw earlier when the Vision believes Scarlet Witch to be dead, and now she's believing him to be dead.
Both times that they're together, and a couple nice Swordsman Mantis cover. Mantis' first cover appearance.
So Mantis is the character who was taken to 4 different comic publishers.
Yeah, so Steve Englehart, who creates her or co-creates her in issue 112, leaves Marvel in the sort of mid-70s, 76 maybe, which we'll talk about later, goes to DC. A Mantis or a Mantis-like character appears in the DCU.
Yes.
Then he does some work in the 80s for Eclipse Comics, and I might be wrong, but she's Scorpio Rose in Eclipse, same character.
Same character.
Yeah.
I think there might be one other publisher as well. I'm not sure.
You might be right, yeah.
But she has appeared by in a few different titles where you don't expect to see her.
Same character, different names.
Yes.
And I think, maybe in the more modern era, she references it.
She does.
She says, I've been to different universes, and that's what she means. She's been to the DC
cool.
yeah, different names. Very cool. I like things like that. Issue 120 is the last distributed issue. From there, it's why my 21's got a sense
copy.
Yeah, because it became non-distributed because of the British comic. Let's see if I can find some cool issues going forward, because there's quite a lot of great things that Steve Englehart did. Kind of starting with this. This is the return of the Human Torch. Origin of the Vision starts here, where I'm not sure, I must confess, whether Roy Thomas did this story or Steve Englehart does it, where it's the body of the Human Torch and the brainwaves of Wonder Man. I guess not, because we've already seen that Grim Reaper cover, haven't we?
Perhaps.
I'm not sure. But there we go. Always like that cover with Ultron strangling the poor old Vision. By issue 137, naturally the Beast joins.
From the X-Men.
From the X-Men. So as we sort of referenced, I think when we were talking about the Hulk and the Champions appear in a Hulk annual, he's had a bit of a run in Amazing Adventures Volume 2, which Steve Englehart takes over. And he brings in Patsy Walker from the Romance comics to say, look, this universe is all linked. Patsy Walker's actually in it.
Which is actually what Stan Lee always wanted for the Marvel Universe. He always wanted, for them to be existing side by side.
Yeah, so Steve Englehart brings a Beast after he leaves Amazing Adventures with issue 17 into the Avengers, becomes an Avenger. Moondragon's in there. Don't know when she first appears in there. She first appeared in an Iron Man comic.
The links to the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
quite interesting.
It's getting strong now, aren't they? Yeah, with Mantis. I'm sure Moondragon's going to appear at some point. So the Beast has now joined the Avengers. This is probably where George Tusca's the artist. George Tusca always said, I really hated doing team books and so much to do. He was the Iron Man artist at the time, George Tusca. He's now doing the Avengers, which eventually, within a few issues actually, is taken over by George Perez, fantastic artist. And he loves doing team books, because in the mid-70s he's doing the Avengers, the Inhumans, and the Fantastic Four all at the same time. So
of course we met him too at Orlando.
We met him too, yeah. We got a later issue of the Avengers signed by him. There's a strange old cover. Look, this is the Vision going into Yellow Jacket's body. Bit of a change from 193. I like this. They bring some of the cowboys into
the Western world.
Western characters. Yeah, I like that. Two Gun Kid and the Rawhide Kid and the original Ghost Rider back there. I think they were now calling Knight Rider. I don't know who the other guy is. The Outlaw Kid, maybe. One of those guys. Yeah, fantastic. I love that.
I've always liked this cover.
Great cover. This is when I know the internal art's by George Perez. It's not a George Perez cover looking at it, unless it's heavily inked. Anyway, Patsy Walker picks up. I think Patsy Walker's been in the Avengers, so in this point she's wandering around with them and finds the discarded costume of the Cat, who's subsequently become Tigra the Werewoman. Great cover, yeah. Good costume actually. I like that cat costume.
I like the costume too. I mean, when we think cats, I think we also think Catwoman, Black Cat, often dressed in black.
Yeah.
Here she is in full colour.
Yeah, it's nice. So she becomes Hellcat. Doesn't join the Avengers. This is another sort of misconception, that because she's with them in this period and has a few adventures, she isn't. And I think by about issue 150, 151, when they do a bit of a change of the roster, I think they ask her to join, and Moondragon persuades her to go to the Defenders. I think that's what happens. So she's never an Avenger, never. Again, she's often, in that big Avengers collage we're talking about, she'll probably be in it, but she never actually joined. Albeit I stand corrected if that might have happened later. Let's go forward a bit. So Steve Englehart is doing some good stuff with the Avengers. Yeah, look, Jack Kirby returns to doing covers. This is when he returns to Marvel in '76. Nice Kirby.
It must be so funny for Jack Kirby at the time, because obviously he left the book with, you know, the characters he and Stan created, and now he's back and there's a whole new cast.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But
you know, characters he didn't design.
I'm sure he's not, unused to that. He's working for hire, isn't he, in a universe that he pretty much created. Yeah. I don't know what he felt at the time. I don't know. I haven't read Jack Kirby biographies. I really mean to, and I certainly will. But you've read some bits that were quite critical of him during this period, where you said that some of the Marvel bullpen unnamed, I guess, criticised him, and I think that's outrageous. How could they do that? This guy.
Also, this is a good cover.
It is a good cover.
No, the qualities remain the same.
Yeah, he's Jack Kirby. So going forward a bit, they do change the roster. They meant to do it in 150, and 150 goes to reprint. I think at this point, Jerry Conway might have come back from DC, or from what must have been quite a brief stint, and has become editor-in-chief. Steve Englehart misses his deadline.
Right.
Jerry Conway, it might not be Jerry Conway, but I think it is. Could be another Marvel editor, maybe Marv Wolfman. So I apologise for getting that, or being a bit confused about that. But they say to him, you've got to stop writing Doctor Strange, because you're missing your Avengers deadline. He's writing the Avengers, Doctor Strange, supervillain team-up featuring Doctor Doom and the Submariner. I think he's writing Captain Marvel, and he's doing some other bits and pieces. He doesn't want to leave Doctor Strange, doesn't think he has to. I do seem to recall a Doctor Strange going to reprint as well. So in some ways you can kind of see the editor's point. You shouldn't really have issue 150 going to reprint, should you? But anyway.
Not if it was doing well.
No, it does. And the story that's intended for 150 comes out in 151. Great Jack Kirby cover. They're all sitting around. From what I remember, this is where Hellcat and Moondragon leave, go to the Defenders. That's how I remember it.
Yeah, so they're sort of promoting a new lineup here.
They are. 152, Jerry Conway brings back Wonder Man.
His green costume.
Yeah, he looks pretty... I wouldn't say dead. He looks like he's coming back from the dead, doesn't he? There's lots of
skulls around him.
Lots of Jack Kirby skulls and skeletons in there.
Nightmare New Orleans.
I will just point out, I do love Jack Kirby, and I'm sure this isn't his intention. Scarlet Witch and Wasp were tiny, as opposed to...
they're a little bit in the background.
Yeah, they are a little bit in the background, but I'm sure, let's give Jack the benefit of the doubt now, I'm sure that was just for the colour. So he brings back Wonder Man. And Wonder Man returns.
I always want to know, was Wonder Man created before DC could do it?
Yeah,
so DC had Wonder Woman.
I would suggest so, yeah. They did him for one issue and killed him. So he's in Avengers 9 as a villain.
Yes.
Redeems himself. I can't remember if he's then killed by the villains or whatever happens, I'm not sure. But there becomes immediate conflict between Vision and Wonder Man, because Wonder Man of course immediately falls in love with the Scarlet Witch. They've got the same brain patterns, and he loves her too.
That makes sense. Yeah. That does make sense.
Another Kirby cover there. Vision and Wonder Man battling it out. I like that cover, but I like this one also. This is George Perez. He's on the Avengers still. Look at that. Grim Reaper comes back, and he's got both the Vision and Wonder Man tied up there. One of them's going to die.
Oh well, Scarlet Witch won't let that happen.
Absolutely won't let that happen. So let's move forward.
I always like a sort of love triangle in comics.
I do as well, yeah. But of course, it's...
we know who she's meant to be with.
Yeah, she continues to be with the Vision. By this time, Jerry Conway's gone back to DC. Jim Shooter, who's future editor-in-chief, is writing the Avengers, doing a good job as well. I liked his Avengers. I really love this cover, so I'm just going to highlight it. Something's going on with the ants, attacked by the Ant-Man, don't know why. Yeah, Ultron's back, as he always comes back. I don't know what costume Wonder Man's.
Ultron was one of their sort of biggest early villains.
Yeah, he's for me, one of the definitive Avengers villains. I absolutely hated this. I mentioned it in the X-Men chat. Count Nefaria comes back.
Yes.
I'm absolutely sure this was a fill-in. This was a fill-in 2 issues. Don't know who wrote it. It might have been Tony Isabella, maybe Bill Mantlo, but he brings back Count Nefaria.
No Thunderbird.
No Thunderbird. Yeah, I think he just said, yeah, I survived. Obviously I survived. Terrible. I was shocked. Guardians of the Galaxy, the originals. I love the originals. Making an Avengers appearance. Very nice. So, I just want to move forward to 170. I think that's Jocasta, the bride of Ultron's first appearance.
Yes.
I like Jocasta.
I always liked that storyline. And Jocasta is based on Janet, on the Wasp.
You mentioned that, yeah. I'd sort of forgotten that. And in more recent times, Hank is with Jocasta. Don't think he is now. Don't know who he's with, but maybe no one. He's not with Janet, but he has been with Jocasta. It's a nice George Perez Scarlet Witch centric cover with Ultron again. I really like that one. I'm just going to take these off, Ellie.
Yeah.
My pile's getting a bit big. So what's next is sort of moving away from George Perez and Jim Shooter, and at some point we get a new team. Sorry, I'm just going to highlight this one. This was a good cover, 178.
Night of the Beast.
So Wonder Man and the Beast become really good friends. They're mates, and this is sort of, as I recall, Wonder Man and the Beast out in the town. Great. I love that kind of
fun.
buddy kind of team up book. It's brilliant. Sorry, 181 is still George Perez. I'm not sure if it's written by Jim Shooter or David Michaelani. I can't remember, but what a great cover.
That's the cover you had signed.
Which he signed in 2012, and again, this is choosing the roster. But this guy's come in. Henry Gyrich.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, also appearing in Vision and Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, so Henry Gyrich is a government guy, and he is saying the Avengers have to now follow government guidelines. I suppose it's a bit of early
Civil War.
Maybe,
Registration Act.
Where they're sort of registered and monitored, and he chooses the roster. And I think I'm right in saying he puts in Falcon and I thought She-Hulk. I might be wrong. But that's what I remember, that Falcon and She-Hulk join. I think Ms. Marvel joins, Carol Danvers. Alright, let's skip forward to Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. So this is, to my recollection, David Michaelani and John Byrne telling a slightly expanded Quicksilver Scarlet Witch, or maybe the first time they've had their origin discussed, and they talk about them being born Romania-ish. I can't remember what country they use, but it's something to do with Wonder Gore and the High Evolutionary and that kind of thing.
It is great, because when, obviously, again, referring to last night's episode of WandaVision, where they retell the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver origin and sort of suggest that, Wanda was born with her powers. She stopped the Stark bomb from exploding with her hex. It's just interesting to think what the writers of the series read when planning that episode. Is this a issue that they looked at?
I'm sure they did. I'm sure they looked at all the backstory for all these characters: Scarlet Witch, Vision, Quicksilver.
And what a cool job that is, to go back and read all the original material.
But of course they need to follow the Marvel, the MCU guidelines, and of course this whole issue with Fox having the X-Men and the mutants. We were hoping, weren't we, that they were going to say, Agatha Harkness was going to say, you're a mutant.
Yes, we just don't know what's going to come next episode though.
Because in the comics she isn't, and I don't like that. I like her being Magneto's daughter. They're Magneto's children, but...
It's the origin story you grew up with these characters.
But now they're not, you know, there's something else. He's not their dad. We want WandaVision to rewrite that and him to appear in the next episode.
And see what happens.
I'm your dad. He was this guy Mordred the Mystic, who bit of a small character who'd appeared in Marvel Chillers 1 and 2 in '75. This was quite speculated. This wasn't. I think people thought he was going to pop up.
Well, we still don't know really who Agatha is working with. I mean, is the fake Pietro Mordred the Mystic? We just don't know. It could even be the bunny rabbit.
Bunny rabbit.
We don't know.
So the rabbit.
Yes.
The issue of Fantastic Four, the rabbit appears
185, did you say?
I think so.
I think so.
I think we have it, but we'll have to have a look because we haven't checked, have we?
No.
I think, did I read it sold for $100 or $90?
Yeah.
Incredible,
It did.
Isn't it?
And so this issue is currently one speculators are watching. It's really interesting going to eBay on a Friday night and to search up some of these comics.
After you've watched the episode.
After we've seen the episode. And it says, sorry, this item has been sold.
Yeah,
and it's literally been in the last few hours.
Exactly, yeah. Captain Marvel the week before.
Giant size Captain Marvel. I've never seen it like that before on eBay.
No.
Where, the items are still listed because they've only just been sold.
Great cover by John Byrne. Probably that's the better one, look at that. Dark Scarlet Witch, she's not very happy there, is she?
Of course, big Dark Phoenix vibes.
Yeah, on Wondergore Mountain. You've got a brother suspended there, upside down. It reminds me of the episode we just seen with the witches.
Yes.
With Agatha Harkness. It's kind of got that kind
Salem 1605.
Yeah, maybe they've drawn some inspiration from that. Alright, let's go forward a bit. Just bear with me a second and see what else we've got. It's got a nice cover. Highlight 189. That's a nice Hawkeye centric cover.
That's the best costume that we have seen for Hawkeye
this
episode. I wasn't too keen on his Goliath costume or his Avengers issue 100 costume.
No.
This is the
sort of classic Hawkeye, yeah. Henry Gyrich in the corner there. Vision Scarlet Witch, of course, married, which happens in Giant Size Avengers 4, I think it is.
Love that.
Yeah, and it's nice to see them as a couple, which is kind of how I wish things could have stayed, but...
I think if they're not together right now, they will be very soon.
Yeah.
I do. Based on the popularity of the Disney Plus WandaVision, I really do think that we'll be seeing them together real soon.
I hope so. I'm going to go forward a couple of issues to Taskmaster. Taskmaster first cameos in 195, and then first full appearance in 196. It's sort of got all the Avengers powers, as I remember.
And we're expecting to see him really soon in the delayed Black Widow movie.
That's right, he's in that, isn't he? Yeah, I've forgotten that. You're right, he's in Black Widow. That's why he's got his mini-series out at the moment, hasn't he?
Where issue 3 is going for
Korean Captain America. Yeah, it goes for £20 or something like that. Luckily mine is reserved and on its way, so looking forward to that. I actually like the Taskmaster. I think he's an interesting character.
I've liked him recently in Nick Spencer's Spidey run, because he's got a little buddy and they just go around.
Yes.
Yeah, Black Ant.
It's Black Ant, so he's the third Ant-Man. I can't remember his name. Someone O'Brien.
Oh, it's
something
just
like
they're
that.
so funny together.
Weren't they in Civil War 2?
Yes, they were.
Absolutely useless.
They were in a book like that.
They were.
And then now
Secret
they're
Empire.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Secret
they were
Empire.
useless. They didn't
They
do
were a
anything.
crossover book, and now they've recently appeared in Spencer's Spider-Man.
I think I mentioned I haven't caught up on that yet, but I like the Taskmaster. I do like the comedy approach we've had with Nick Spencer in Secret Empire. That was fun.
That's what's made me like Taskmaster.
Yeah. So we're going to go forward to issue 200. I really like this cover by George Perez.
I like seeing all the anniversary issues. Issue 100, issue 200.
It's a good one, isn't it? I like the way that it's been constructed. Inks by Terry Austin, who inks so much great.
The X-Men.
Yeah, John Byrne, X-Men. I first came across Terry Austin in Steve Englehart's run on Detective Comics. So Leeds Marvel writes Detective Comics with Marshall Rogers doing the pencils, Terry Austin doing the inks. Great. And then Terry Austin at least comes to Marvel. Marshall Rogers does. He certainly is at Marvel in the 80s.
Oh, very cool.
Brilliant cover, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
really
good cover. And
nice.
I always like the back issues that have the Winner Toys R Us shopping spree advertisement at the top. It just reminds me of, X-Men 1 through 7.
Of course, yeah. So they all had them. I'm going to go forward to the betrayal of the Avengers by Hank Pym.
He hasn't come off very well, has he?
No, story that I remember at the time. I found it quite difficult because he was a bit of a...
One of the founding members.
Yeah, he's a founding member of the Avengers, and he's sort of... he's not acting very well. Jim Shooter comes back to write the Avengers, and this one here is a court martial of the Yellow Jacket. He's gone back to being Yellow Jacket. He's been Ant-Man, hasn't he, recently? He's now his Yellow Jacket. I think at this point, I might be wrong, I might be off this, but he does hit Janet.
Right.
So that's heavily amplified by Mark Miller in the Ultimates. Yeah. Where he really doesn't come across well. I think he has. I can't remember an issue, and it might be later.
It's interesting for Marvel to touch upon sort of domestic violence in this way, but again, their characters are given real human stories.
They are given human stories, and it's quite brave in the 1980s where we're at now to touch on that. But there is an issue where he does.
It does. It also, you can't really like Hank Pym ever again after that.
No, it's a hard way back, isn't it? After you.
It's changed his character.
Your life. So it did change his character a bit. He does some kind of convoluted thing where he goes back to his old villain, the Egghead, and tries to redeem himself with the Avengers, but they find out that it's a big con anyway, and
do you think this is eventually why we got Scott Lang?
Yeah, so Scott Lang is the Ant-Man, and as you mentioned that, I'm going to put that one down. Classic cover, 223. So I think that cover I showed by George Perez, 180, I'm going to say, is Scott Lang's first appearance.
Right.
Then he appears in Marvel Premiere, I think it's 48, 49, by John Byrne and David Michelinie again, where Scott Lang becomes Ant-Man. I think Cassie Lang's introduced as his little daughter, as we've seen in the films, and Scott at this point doesn't join, he's not an Avenger, but he's guest starring in this issue. What a fantastic cover.
It's a classic, it is.
It is.
It's one that I remember, you showing me when I was younger.
Yeah, it's actually by Ed Hannigan. I didn't know that, but I've just seen his signature down the bottom, yeah. So Ed Hannigan did Peter Parker, Spec Spider-Man 64 with Bill Murray.
Brilliant.
First Cloak and Dagger. But that's a classic. I think the next issue, I think I'm right in saying, just got to find it. What issue is that, sorry?
That is 223.
I think 224, which I just passed. Poor old Hank's in jail. There he is for crimes against the Avengers. Poor guy's been locked up, but
described as the most offbeat Avengers tale ever.
Yeah, I can't remember it inside out, but it was along those lines. 228, he's on trial. It was all kicking off for him.
And again, She-Hulk is there in the background.
Yeah, as his lawyer, I guess. Not Matt
No,
Murdock.
maybe so, I don't know.
Not Matt Murdock. Maybe she's not his lawyer. She doesn't look very happy there.
No, she doesn't. But I think, again, we've all lost our trusting Hank at that point. The Avengers have obviously done so as well.
They have, and they're showing their displeasure. Captain are very happy back there. Hawkeye's confronting Chandler. Given Hawkeye's history with different Avengers women.
Oh dear. I'm sure he's just being a good friend.
Yeah. I think that's the issue where Hank contrives his whole
Why go to Egghead out of anyone? Any supervillain?
Yeah, he probably would have been better off with Ultron, but anyway, he goes on trial, he leaves the Avengers. There he is, next issue. I guess he's gone because he's
time to go.
Yeah, time to go. So he's left. The Avengers move on. So they bring in 232 a Jim Starlin character. It's worth pointing out that by this point, Monica Rambeau's joined. He goes on to lead the Avengers as
really
Captain
cool.
Marvel. First appears in Amazing Spider-Man, he was 16. Then moves into the Avengers. There's a headshot of them. And Star Fox first appears. As I'm talking about Star Fox, so I will just talk a bit about him. He's a Jim Starlin character. First appeared in Iron Man 55 with Thanos and Drax the Destroyer.
Sure, he features in Deadpool 2.
You think so?
I saw it last night. I'm sure Star Fox is in it. Not for long.
Got to see that again.
Not for long.
But he was originally called Eros, so they changed him to Star Fox. He joins the Avengers. But I'm going to go back a few issues. 227. This could be where Monica Rambeau, the second and current Captain Marvel, joins the Avengers.
I'm really hoping we see her in costume soon. I'm really hoping to see
she's
her
wearing
on screen.
those black and white colours.
I like the costume. I really do.
Wearing those colours in WandaVision.
Yes.
And hopefully she's going to be in an up and coming Avengers film, which would be nice. I just found 236 that Spider-Man and Avenger ?
Yeah.
Who would have thought? And of course he doesn't join the Avengers. I think he becomes a reservist. I think he's a reserve Avenger.
Which is fair enough.
Yeah.
Like, do his own thing, but when they need him,
of course,
he's there.
Brian Michael Bendis' era, he's an Avenger. He's in the Fantastic Four, and he's done everything.
I remember him moving Aunt May and Mary Jane into the Avengers mansion.
Wolverine starts flirting with
Mary Jane.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
That was so funny.
Yeah, that was good stuff. Anyway, look, that's quite a good Spidey cover. Pretty certain Roger Stern's writing the Avengers with Alan Milgram on art, I think, at this point, because I don't last much longer buying comics, Ellie, I'm afraid, during this era. As I've said before, I stopped buying comics in 1986 to save up to buy a house with your mum, which was obviously our priority. 238 Unlimited Visions. Don't know about that one. Interesting to check this one out.
Yeah, it would be.
Good Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel Vision.
Somehow.
Very topical.
Star Fox down there, getting in on the action. Yeah, that's an interesting looking comic that we need to have a look at. That seems to go on that story. That's an interesting looking comic, which I'll pull out in a minute. In fact, I'm going to go forward quite a bit now. I'll do 250. We were talking about anniversary issues. That's a good cover. I like that one.
Not sure who's... the Fist of Maelstrom.
Yeah, I don't actually know who that character is, but Mockingbird. So this is it's called Mighty Avengers again. Look, I guess this is when Avengers West Coast or West Coast Avengers are around, because they're over there. Look.
No, yeah. Tigra.
Mockingbird and Hawkeye, Tigra, Wonder Man, and the Avengers with Hercules, Vision, Scarlet Witch, Captain Marvel. It's great how the roster keeps changing. This is another example. I really like that cover actually. So this one's by Alan Milgram. Joe Sinnott, great. Fantastic Four, Jack Kirby inker on there as well. So I just wanted to highlight that. More Vision.
It's interesting. I think because obviously the Scarlet Witch and Vision's on everybody's minds at the moment.
Absolutely.
But then when you do go back to look at these original covers, it's interesting how many issues he seems to spotlight.
It is. It'd be interesting to read this run again. So many good good old comics to peer through. But yeah, there's a 254 there, Ultimate Vision.
Yeah, he's not looking very happy there.
No, so this is before the 12-issue Steve Englehart written Vision Scarlet Witch series. This is slightly before. So yeah, I stopped buying then with 257. I'm sorry, with 254. It's my last one.
Right.
And this must be 86. Look, I get a couple of issues here and there. There's 257. Isn't 262 the Return of Jean, Ellie?
Well, I've just recently looked at The Return of Jean Grey. I have the hardcover, which collects this Avengers story as well as the X Factor. Yeah, Return of Jean Grey. 263,
there she is, cocooned in the bottom of the Hudson River from issue 101.
Well, I'm pleased they brought her back.
In a bit of a convoluted way, but you know, they've got to bring her back somehow.
Exactly.
Look, I've got, just to finish this box, the last two comics are 297 and 298. I know Walt Simonson's around at this point. Looks like that's John Buscema, I might be wrong. That's where I finished with this box.
Is this Jarvis?
That's
Edwin Jarvis, the last Avenger.
Of course,
Who stepped up.
I know at some point, I don't know if it's here, I think it, you know, within, you know, this run, some soldiers, let's say, burst into the mansion, push Jarvis aside, and Captain America turns around and says, "Treat that man like an Avenger." I think it's,
yes.
Maybe in the 80s. I always loved
that.
Jarvis being so proud, you know, and always liked Jarvis.
Yeah, I do too.
The one thing
Alfred as well, but...
Yeah, I know. The one thing I didn't like about the Avengers movies is Jarvis is a computer program.
That's how we got Vision in the MCU.
This is how we get Vision. I want to see a Jarvis.
Yeah.
But, there we go. That's the end of this box, Ellie.
Oh, fantastic. I really enjoy looking through these classic Avenger books. I know that our second Avenger box sort of starts with first appearance of Nebula, so again it's another tie-in with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
We did buy as a back issue because I wasn't buying comics again until 91. I bought that on back issue a good few years ago, probably when she was announced as you know, being a character in the Guardians of the Galaxy.
We do enjoy collecting first appearances.
We love a first appearance.
It is something, and it's always really exciting when I was cataloguing the other day and I found an issue of Terror Titans and found out that it's Static Shock's first appearance in the DC universe, not the animated.
Great find. Of course, he appeared in Milestone comics before that. This is his first appearance in the DCU, as you say, so great.
No, it's always fun finding first appearances, and I really enjoyed looking through that box. So, I was going to say, thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you have any suggestions of titles you would like to see appear in our future episodes, please do leave us a comment. And thank you so much for watching.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, bye.